What's good, YouTube? It's your boy, Blue Blood Sports TV, back at y'all with another one. So, former unified three-belt WBA, WBC, IBF welterweight world champion superstar boxer, Errol "The Truth" Spence Jr. Errol Spence Jr. is now 28 wins, 1 loss, no draw, 22 wins by way of knockout, 33 years of age, 5'9" with a 72-inch arm reach. With that said, Errol Spence has resurfaced. We have not seen anything from Errol Spence outside of some footage or photos that we saw of him, his significant other posted while they was on vacation. Since Errol Spence took the first loss of his career, July 29th, Las Vegas, Nevada, T-Mobile Arena, when he took on and lost to his biggest rival in a massive welterweight undisputed showdown, the biggest fight in the last decade. On paper was seen to be the most 50-50 fight, if there ever were one, in the last 40 years. And that was between himself and now undefeated 3-division world champion, 2-division undisputed world champion, superstar boxer who is widely acknowledged and recognized as the #1 best pound-for-pound fighter in the world, in Terence Bud Crawford. Terence Bud Crawford is now 40 wins, no loss, no draw, 31 big wins by way of knockout. He is 36 years of age, 5'8" with a 74-inch arm reach. With that said, Errol Spence didn't just lose to Terence Crawford. He got absolutely dominated in shocking fashion. Not many people, if any, saw Errol Spence get absolutely dominated like that in a one-sided showdown. Not even Terence Crawford himself. But one man in particular saw this coming, and that was Terence Crawford's longtime trainer, mentor, big brother, father, uncle figure in Brian Bomac McIntyre. Okay? He was the only one. He said that Terence Crawford was going to dominate Errol Spence. It was going to be easy, and he was going to stop him and knock him out. And he did just that. He dropped Errol Spence in the second round, twice in the 7th, and then stopped him in the 9th. But not only that, he battered him in the other rounds, okay? In the rounds outside of those rounds, he battered him in those rounds. Some people thought it should have been stopped in the 6th, 7th, and definitely in the 8th round. With that said, Errol Spence in negotiations negotiated into the contract that the loser, well, both guys, should I say, the loser will have the right to activate an immediate rematch within 30 working business days. And the winner would get automatically a bigger share of the pie and would get to choose what weight class the rematch took place in. Well, it's widely expected now that Errol Spence and Terence Crawford rematch, after Errol Spence activated his right, to the rematch. Looks like the rematch is going to take place in April, and it looks like the rematch is going to take place at junior middleweight, 154. Okay, this is where Errol Spence immediately post-fight in the ring, Errol Spence stated that he wanted a rematch immediately, and he wanted at 154. And it looks like Terence Crawford is going to oblige, as Terence Crawford is on record himself stating that it's not easy for him to make 147 pounds either. He's been at 147 for 5 years and 8 fights. So with that said, the IBF, International Boxing Federation, better known as the IBF, President Mr. Peoples, Mr. Darryl Peoples, they stripped Terence Crawford of his IBF title and elevated the phenom, as I call him, Jerron Boots Ennis, to the IBF welterweight world champion now. With that said, it's expected that Terence Crawford is going to relinquish his title soon, or they're going to start to strip him, and the fight is going to be at 154. Nonetheless, let's get to the topic at hand, is that Errol Spence surfaced again. And now we saw some pictures of Errol Spence that looked like Errol Spence was out of shape, okay? Looked like he was either purchasing the dogs or buying the dogs, interacting with dogs and a dog breeder. And in those photos, Errol Spence looked out of shape. And it went viral, including myself that talked about it. Because this is a rematch that's extremely important. The most important fight of his career coming up is this rematch. not do he just have to win, but he has to have a good showing. He has to be competitive. Even in a loss, if he's competitive, that would rectify his career. Right now, many people are, dismissing the rest of his career. They're saying Errol Spence is done. He suffered some major injuries throughout his career, some major injuries outside the sport, suffered a broken or detached retina back in 2021 before he fought Manny Pacquiao, and then that fight got canceled. He suffered a horrific car accident just a few weeks after unifying the belts against Sean Porter in 2019. That saw him out the ring for 14 months and a year with the eye injury. And then he suffered this brutal loss to Terence Crawford. So many people are already dismissing his career. Okay, they're already saying that his career is over. So this rematch is important. So when those pictures surfaced that Errol Spence deemed to be out of shape, that was alarming. Well, now another picture has surfaced of Errol Spence, and he looks absolutely jacked in these pictures. Okay, you can see in his shoulders, his traps, in his midsection area. I know a lot of people don't like to discuss this, but I discuss it because we discuss them seeing them on the scale, right? We talk about Errol Spence and Terence Crawford and these dudes on the scale in their underwears. So why can't we talk about how they look and their physique in the build-up before they enter full training camp? And then his longtime trainer, well-renowned two-time trainer of the year, future Hall of Famer, Derrick James, he stated that Errol Spence wasn't in training camp, right? He wasn't in camp, and he wasn't working out, so on and so forth, which, again, sent another alarming message to the boxing world and the fans of Errol Spence. But when you look at this picture here that recently surfaced of Errol Spence, and you look at his traps and his shoulder blades, right? Errol Spence is going to be more comfortable, definitely, at 154. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. That's not a question. It's about technique. And my biggest concern when it came to Errol Spence overall is not Errol Spence's weight. It's that Errol Spence, to be already in shape, where he's just focusing on technique and strategy and game plan, not weight loss, nutrition. Obviously, he still has to. He don't walk around at 154 pounds, and he definitely don't walk around at 147 pounds. He probably walks around at 180. So he's definitely going to have to focus on nutrition and food intake, and his, conditioning. But I want to see Errol Spence completely working on technique, strategy, game plan, right? So you look at this picture, he looks completely healthy in this picture. Again, you look at his traps, you look at the upper chest, you look at his shoulders, his delts, right? His rear delts. And for me, I can discuss this comfortably. For one, I'm comfortable in my skin. For two, I was in the bodybuilding world, and I'm a fan of bodybuilding. So I can tell, I always admire a physique and have appreciation for a physique. Certain physique, you can tell the hard work that individual is putting in, right? It's not the admiring of the actual physique, it's the discipline, right? And the hard work that it takes. And if you look at his rear delts in this photo and his traps and his upper chest area, right? You can see that, he's definitely not out of shape. He's definitely not out of shape. You can see the forming in the in his obliques, where his abs is going to be, right? He's in shape, right? Errol Spence is in shape and he's jacked, which lets me know he's taking this 1,000% serious. His face looks full, but he's in shape. His face don't look like it's drained. Again, so he looks completely healthy. And this is my biggest concern. My biggest issue is that I just want to see Errol Spence going into camp fully working on strategy to prepare for Terence Crawford rematch, to get the absolute best version of Errol Spence we could possibly see. Period. Not a weight drain Errol Spence that was focusing on his losing the weight and cutting the weight and his nutrition more so than his conditioning and the game plan and the strategy to come up with a game plan to beat Terence Crawford, or dare I say even compete with Terence Crawford, because it wasn't a competition. So Terence Crawford, he states that ain't nothing going to change. And then you see photos of Terence Crawford surface. And Terence Crawford is jacked himself, right? When you look at the photos of Terence Crawford. Now, Terence Crawford stays in shape, so this is not a surprise. But you look at Terence Crawford's abs, completely in shape as well. Terence Crawford in shape. And he put up a post and he said, like his head, he shaggy, but he don't care. Just focus on getting in shape. So it looks like this fight is going to take place in April, the rematch at 154. It looks like we're going to get the best version of Errol Spence and the best version of Terence Crawford, and I absolutely cannot wait. So let's see how this unfolds and plays out. But that's all I got for y'all. Make sure you hit the like button. Drop a comment in the comment section. Let me know what y'all think. Y'all already know what it is. It's your boy Blue Blood Sports TV. Hate, like, comment, and subscribe. You haven't subscribed, hit the subscribe button, hit the like button, hit the bell icon to get all the new notifications. Follow me on Instagram at Blue Blood Sports TV, all one word. That's all I got for y'all. I'm gone. Peace.